The possibility of Yamaha reviving the legendary RZV500R V4 is no longer a fantasy reserved for nostalgic collectors and two-stroke purists. In recent months, the convergence of Yamaha's renewed V4 ambitions in MotoGP and persistent rumors surrounding a V4-powered road-going superbike have reignited speculation about a modern reinterpretation of one of Yamaha's most iconic machines. The original Yamaha Rzv500R, launched in the mid-1980s, was Yamaha's bold attempt to bring Grand Prix technology to the street. Built as a homologation special inspired directly by the YZR500 GP racer, the RZV500R stood apart from conventional sport motorcycles of its era by embracing a compact V4 two-stroke engine configuration. At the heart of the original RZV500R was a 499 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled, two-stroke V4 engine, closely related to Yamaha's YZR500 OW70 race bike. This engine layout was radical for a production motorcycle, emphasizing compactness, centralized mass, and explosive power delivery rather than refinement or emissions compliance. Unlike its steel-frame sibling, the RD500LC, the Japanese market RZV500 are featured an aluminum frame, underscoring Yamaha's commitment to lightweight engineering and race-derived construction. This made the RZV500R not just a styling exercise, but a serious technical statement during an era dominated by two-stroke Grand Prix racing. The RZV500R was never a mass-market motorcycle. It was expensive, complex, and uncompromising, designed for enthusiasts who wanted to experience something as close as possible to a factory GP machine on public roads. That exclusivity is precisely what has elevated its status to cult icon territory decades later. Fast forward to the present, and Yamaha once again finds itself at a crossroads. The MotoGP landscape has evolved dramatically, and Yamaha's long-standing inline-4 philosophy has recently shown limitations against the V4-dominated field of Ducati, KTM, Aprilia, and Honda. This strategic shift became unmistakably clear when Yamaha officially unveiled its V4-powered YZR M1 prototype, signaling what the company described as the beginning of a new era. For a manufacturer historically loyal to inline engines, this was nothing short of a philosophical revolution. The decision to pursue a V4 in MotoGP was not merely reactive. It reflects Yamaha's acknowledgement that the V4 layout offers advantages in packaging, aerodynamics, traction management, and acceleration, traits that are increasingly critical under modern racing regulations. Historically, Yamaha has rarely developed racing technology without considering its eventual trickle-down potential. From the OW series to the R1 and R6, Yamaha's racing programs have often served as incubators for future road machines. Industry whispers suggest that Yamaha is actively exploring a V4 platform for its next-generation flagship superbike, potentially to replace or coexist with the current inline-4 R1. If Yamaha is indeed preparing a V4 road engine, it would make little sense to limit such a costly and symbolic development to a single model. A halo machine rooted in Yamaha's racing heritage would be the ideal vehicle to justify the transition. This is where the RZV500R name re-enters the conversation. Unlike the R1, which represents Yamaha's modern superbike lineage, the RZV500R is a direct bridge between MotoGP history and street-legal exotica. Reviving the RZV500R badge would allow Yamaha to tell a richer narrative, one that links past Grand Prix glory, present MotoGP reinvention, and future performance technology in a single product. Crucially, a modern RZV500R would not be a two-stroke revival. Emissions regulations make that virtually impossible. Instead, the spirit of the original would be reborn through architecture and philosophy rather than combustion cycles. The motorcycle features a compact, aggressive full-fairing design with clear visual references to Yamaha's racing DNA, including classic red and white livery accents and bold V4 branding on the fairings. The proportions indicate a tightly packaged engine, consistent with a modern V4 layout, allowing for a shorter wheelbase and centralized mass. The exposed aluminum frame elements reinforce the impression of a premium, performance-focused chassis. High-spec suspension components, including gold anodized front forks, suggest a top-tier setup aimed at track-focused riders rather than mass-market accessibility. This aligns with the original RZV500RS positioning as a specialist machine. The aerodynamic profile appears more sculpted than current Yamaha sport bikes, hinting at MotoGP-derived airflow management. This would be a logical outcome of Yamaha's renewed focus on aerodynamics in its V4 MotoGP development. Branding placement on the fairing, particularly the RZV500R script, seems deliberately nostalgic, yet the overall silhouette is unmistakably modern. This balance is critical if Yamaha intends to attract both heritage enthusiasts and younger riders. From a market perspective, a modern RZV500R V4 would not compete directly with mainstream superbikes. Instead, it would sit above them as a limited production, high-value flagship. Critics may argue that reviving the RZV500R risks diluting its legacy. However, Yamaha has historically shown restraint when resurrecting iconic names, often waiting until the technology and narrative align convincingly. In this case, the alignment appears stronger than ever. Yamaha is rethinking its MotoGP identity, reconsidering its engine philosophy, and facing a competitive landscape dominated by V4 machines. A modern RZV500R V4 would not be an exercise in nostalgia alone. It would be a statement of intent, a declaration that Yamaha is ready to redefine itself without abandoning its history. Ultimately, whether Yamaha chooses to revive the RZV500R name remains uncertain. Yet the convergence of historical precedent, racing strategy, and visual concept suggests that the idea is far from implausible. If Yamaha does take this step, the RZV500R V4 could become more than just a motorcycle. It could symbolize Yamaha's most daring transformation since the original V4 two-stroke era, bridging generations through innovation rather than imitation.
you.